It is at 7:32. 7:32. Keith, you're upside down.
You can see upside your nose.
Yeah. I like his beach though. All right, and so did you? I guess you guys didn't read the minutes then, if you just got them now.
Speed reading.
You want me to give you a minute?
Yeah,
You want to forward them to me? I'll read them real quick.
they're from March 30th from Mary's email.
Yeah, they're at work.
Oh,
I should have them, but I don't.
You want me to forward it to you?
If you want to approve them, yes.
Okay, so let's do that then. Let's forward. Keith Minot. Bing, gone.
all right. There is your.
Okay, we ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, so any comments on the minutes?
No, looks about right.
Okay.
But I thought you were the one contacting the Olive Branch about the barbecue contest. I don't mind doing it.
Okay. Okay, well, I guess there was confusion then, because you thought I was doing it, I thought you were doing it. One of us has to do it. So
Yeah,
either way,
I'll go ahead and take it on.
bingo. All right.
Motion to accept the minutes?
Motion to accept the minutes, please, somebody.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, minutes are approved.
I have a question about the minutes. Would the committee prefer that I send them out shortly after the meeting in case you have jobs that you need to complete before the next meeting, or do you want it 2 weeks prior to the meeting? What is best?
The first one.
All right, right after. Okay.
Right after. Okay, all right, so we'll make an attempt at doing that. Okay, any news with vendors?
No, going to be sending out the updated version of the vendor forms.
Again, I have updated the vendor form. We will print some of them today, well, this week, and you can mail them out.
And we, okay.
Tony, if you give me a digital copy, I'll update the website.
Yep. All right, so one of the policies that we're gonna have this year though, okay, is that we probably should make sure that we have that at least in the minutes, is that normally this is a rain or shine event. We don't usually give refunds, okay? Except that if for some reason we have to call the event based on COVID for some reason or another, okay, or some pandemic or health related thing, that we will offer vendors either a refund or to credit them for next year. Right? Anybody have a problem with that?
Nope.
Okay, so that, I'm gonna
I
modify,
would define it though.
yes,
Um,
yeah. You would define it as, it has to be a, like a shutdown based on, health authorities or something, not, like the state or something like that, right? Or the
Right.
CDC or something like that, some recognized health agency or something. Works for me.
Okay, hold on. What is it? What are you defining the parameters as? Like defined by the CDC or something, or just our call?
state or
If we have to cancel the event based on a health-related incident, like a pandemic, okay, it would be because the, local authorities closed the event for some reason, right? So that's how we would define it. It would be by the CDC, or it could actually be the Douglas Board of Health, actually, if they closed the event, right?
I mean, it could be us too, though. I mean, we could also just decide for some reason that.
Correct.
So, I mean, I think I would word the language around like at the discretion of the Octoberfest committee.
Yep. All right.
But whatever the language is, you want to make sure that it's us canceling the event and not vendors backing out.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. It would be a full cancellation. Yeah.
Well, I had looked up some local big events that we always check into. The Woodstock Fair is listed from September 3 through 6, 2021. They have the dates up there, but you cannot click on anything to become a vendor or anything like that. They just have the date up there.
Yeah, they haven't opened up, Woodstock Fair hasn't opened up registration yet.
The Big E is scheduled for September 17th through October 3rd, 2021. A lot of the animal events there's no public attendees, just the people that are doing that. But with the Big E itself, they have the full listing of all vendors, including food, listed that are planning on participating this year. They also have the rules, regulations, safety procedures with the COVID-19 guidance, protection, prevention listing from the state, and it's actually a really good listing. The Scituate Art Festival has their date October 9th to 11th with you cannot click on anything. They just have the date set. And Waters Farm in Sutton, Mass has absolutely nothing posted.
Yeah, it means that like the Big E and Woodstock are starting to think seriously about having an event like we are, but nobody has any rules yet, really. So they're kind of waiting still. Everybody's in a waiting mode at the moment.
Except for the Big E, they get all
Except for
their
the Big
vendors.
E.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Big E plans on continuing, so. Okay, we've been working on a couple of, are you done?
Yes, I'm done. Thank
Okay.
you.
We've been working on a couple of other things already. One, I reached out to Purgatory Brewing. They're on board. They want to play again. So they've actually done a lot of work on their taps, actually, to adjust them so that they poured faster or something. That was a kind of a problem for us last year. So they claim that we won't have that problem this year. So there's that one. They're on, so they're ready to go. We also, since last meeting, we purchased 2 trikes. and I put them together because they come in a box. You have to put them together. They were a blast. John and I rode them around the circle for a while. And so we ordered 2 more. So we have a total.
Tony's got a lot of speed in his legs for an old man.
Yeah.
So we have 4 of them now. Okay. So I think that's going to be a great event. I did come up with I came up with a thought because, we'd have to set it up with hay bales to make a track. We were kind of considering a track. I did find for $150, we can rent a blow up track. from the ride people, the people that we rent our rides from. Let me show you a picture of that. Okay, I sent a picture to John. And it's enormous. It makes you, it makes you want to do it. Hang on. So it looks like,
Well, you contacted John because he's the one who came up with the idea of the
Yeah.
trikes.
John came up with the idea of the trike, so I had to, let's give credit where it's due.
Well, I didn't want you to say, oh, it's like, oh, you're left keeping.
Oh, hey, can you let me share my screen, Mr. Cable Person?
Sarah,
Yep, 1 second.
it's Mrs. Cable Person.
Okay, you should be all set now.
Thank you.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
so, all right, so, if you see this like blow up thing. What do you think?
Tony, what did you say the dimensions were again?
The thing is 44 foot wide and 44 foot long. So deep. So it's 44 feet wide, 44 feet deep. The
Have you taken measurements of the parking lot at the bank?
that will fit 44 feet wide. Yep.
You're
Now
Positive?
it's 8 foot between lanes. The vendor they actually took it out of the thing, they blew it up and they measured it for me. So the lanes are 8 feet wide. Okay.
Are you positive it's going to fit in that parking lot?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm not convinced that there's 44 feet.
You
there.
think it's longer than 44 feet?
No, he thinks it won't fit because there's not.
I think
You guys will have to measure it.
yeah, measure, because I'm not convinced there's 44 feet between the street
Okay.
side and the door.
You think that this is wider than the available space there?
Yeah.
There's 6 parking spaces there.
No, I'm talking about from the street to the door.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll measure it. But I think that this would make setup of that real easy rather than lugging around 65 hay bales. Right? It's $150 to rent this.
Yeah, I mean, we probably couldn't set up a course for that cost. We'd pay that. just to-
Or that labor.
Yeah, right. Well, the labor is free.
The
Yeah,
labor
but
is free.
But it's limited,
What do you mean limited?
We only have so many volunteers.
Yeah, there's only
so much time.
5 of us on the committee.
The ride people set this up and take it down.
Yeah, that's well worth $150 to me.
Yeah. Well worth.
I mean,
$150.
I think
And I think it draws a lot of attention.
it's cool. I think we could make a better course. Like I think like a course with a hay bale, I think with hay bales would look a little bit cooler and maybe more like pro, but I think for the cost and for year one, this might be the way to go.
So you
Maybe
think,
we do like a downhill course.
Persistent, if nothing else.
Well, he keeps trying. We eventually will get something.
let's see. Let's put it into perspective.
Oh, those are small tricycles. Those aren't tricycles. Those are 4-wheelers.
So that's what it looks like with
Pretty big.
kids in the thing. So you can get an idea of what, size.
That's not going to fit in that parking lot.
Hmm?
I don't think that's going to fit in that parking lot.
Well, if you look at the parking spaces, it will. Okay.
It's like
because
4 parking spaces long,
It's only 4 parking spaces long.
maybe 5.
Yeah. There's 6 parking spaces over there.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, all right. Get up there with the measuring tape.
We'll end up measuring it, but
Where does Bear usually put his truck?
he puts it on the other side of the driveway.
So he
The
can still be able
second driveway, the exit driveway.
to, okay.
So Tony was saying the plan this year is to move that stage further towards Unibank.
Yeah, we want to move it further towards Unibank a little bit. A couple reasons for that. One, I would like to, I'd like to expand the beer garden a little. Okay, so that we can, I think that I might have to do some distancing in this. I'm gonna have to spread the tables out a little bit. So I'd have to put the beer garden out. Also, what happens is on the right-hand side where nobody usually sets up, where they used to have the farmers market people, but they don't do farmers market anymore. I would like to put the root beer garden or the soda garden on the right-hand side. And then in front of the Jenks store it's actually dirt, but it should be grass. In front, directly in front of the Jenks store, I wanted to set up some round tables and chairs, like a cafe. Because directly opposite that will be this. You'll be able to see it right from there. And then, so if we push the stage down just a little bit so that it's not directly in front of the Jenks store, then we'll have room for that. Plus, you'll have people sitting at the tables and chairs watching the entertainment on the main stage.
Those people will be deaf.
Huh?
So those people will be deaf.
Yeah, the music's gonna be loud.
We'll also wind up losing space where the emergency vehicles go, where the stage people load and unload. And we're getting back to the point where we're overbalancing the main stage over the goodness store stage.
Not if it's moved back. How would it overbalance?
Because you're talking about putting the root beer garden there and the others. I think you're again getting too centric to that side of the event again, where we're trying to balance the event out.
I'm not
Whereas
sure. I'm not sure I understood that.
I think Keith, what he's
If I push the stage back just another 10 feet, okay, from where we usually set it up now, okay,
Yep.
then you're not going to lose that much in space behind the stage, but you will get more of the front of the Jenks store opened up.
Keith, you're talking less about the positioning of the stage and more about the activities and the.
I'm talking about both because, like I said, it's part and parcel. Because the reason why you're moving it backwards is to fit more stuff over there, which is the activities centered towards that side of the street. And then the other issue is like I said, is that you're going to wind up losing.
I'm trying to solve a problem. I'm trying to solve a problem of having people with their families going to the beer garden to eat food because it's the only place to sit down with tables. Okay, that can't happen anymore. Okay, I have a beer garden. It requires that we carton people and we're letting kids in to eat at the tables because there's no other place for them to sit. I have to stop that from happening. Okay.
Well, I mean, setting up tables right in front of the stage isn't going to do that.
It's going to put it in the same. It's going to put it in that area where they don't have to go into the beer garden. I had people that were taking up tables in the beer garden last year that weren't even drinking beer. They sat in there because they were eating food. They didn't have any other place to go. So what I'm trying to do, especially even when we set up the soda portion, I'm trying to set it up so that it's in vicinity of the beer garden still, but it's not in the beer garden. I can't move the beer garden. That's where it goes. There's no other place for us to put that.
Yeah, we also don't want to put tables too far away from all the food.
That's right.
And all the food vendors are kind of up in that neck of the woods anyway.
You could shift around where the ticket booth is.
We can talk about the logistics of that a little bit more. Later. We don't have to dwell on that so much right now. If for some reason, okay, If we, for $150, I thought this was the way to go, okay? If for some reason this does not fit in the front part there, where would we put it?
How long does it take to set up and take down?
This right here,
Yep.
about 20 minutes. Because you roll it out and you plug it in, and then it blows
The
up.
only other thing we could do would be, or not the only other thing, but one other idea would be to not really have a stage per se down by the goodness store, set this up in the street, and we could change the dachshund race to more of an obstacle course race where they have to race around the course rather than just a straight line.
That's a clever idea. I was actually having a similar thought, or replace stage B with this. What are the dimensions again, Tony? 40 something, 44 feet?
This is 44 feet.
What's the width on the road?
Well, the way we're looking at it now, from left to right, it's 44 feet. And from front to back, it's 44 feet.
So
So
what's
it's square?
what are the dimensions on the road?
What was that?
What are the dimensions on the road? What's the width of the road down by the goodness store?
Oh, I have no idea.
No, it's not going to be 44 feet.
It's probably 40, 50 feet.
No.
No?
How
No.
wide is the lane? 15?
So now I'm having a really hard time believing that this would fit in that parking lot, because basically one of my buses is 45 feet long,
Yep.
and I don't think I could park it across that parking lot.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me see what I can do here.
Well, I know.
You're gonna Google Earth that?
How about this one? Okay. I know that we had a trailer there selling clothes. Okay. It was 30 feet long. And we still had 2 parking spaces left.
So I don't think that's the dimension that's the problem. I think it's the other one. It's the front. It's front to back. It's from
Right.
the nose of the car to the door of the building.
Yeah, but even if you, well, it's going to be at least that. But even if it goes right up to the door of the building, right? Then you turn it sideways, so you go in on by the side.
But wait, what? How does that solve? If it's 44 feet
Square.
square, how does that solve the problem?
Because now you can get to it from the side, even because you can't get to it from the front of the back, right? If this went, it's going to fit sideways,
It's not going to fit.
right? You're just thinking that it's not going to fit from the street to the building.
Can I share my screen? Can I
So
present?
if it's from the, wait a minute, so if it's from the street to the building, 40 feet or 44 feet, then you turn it sideways so that you come in from the driveway, the front door.
Open system. How do I
You should
share
be
my
able to
screen?
share now.
Can I share now? Share, continue. Desktop.
See the parking spaces?
1, 2, 3.
Wait, hold on. Oh, I can't. I have to quit. It won't let me. I don't have it set to share. Anyway, I'm looking at Google Earth right now. The Webster First Federal parking lot is like 25 feet, maybe 30 feet.
Wide?
From the head end of the parking spot, from nose end of the parking spot to the door of the building is about 25, maybe 30 feet. The other way, the width, you've got 40 feet, 45 feet.
Yeah, I knew the width was perfect.
That's not a problem. It's this way though. You don't have enough space from the sidewalk to the door. 30 feet tops.
I think it's more than that.
I'm looking at a picture right here and I've got it's got 20 feet. Yeah, 30 feet.
It can't be because the parking space is 10 feet long
The
and you can,
Park- there's only parking on one side.
I know that.
So
But when you drive in and take a left, that parking space is 10 feet long. So it's at least,
All right,
It's-
we'll measure it. We'll
okay,
measure
well,
it.
it doesn't matter anyway. We'll measure it. We'll
I'm
measure it.
telling you, it's 30 feet tops, 35 feet
We'll
tops.
measure it. And then okay, so if it's not, then where do we put it?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Or we just don't get it. We do hay bales instead.
I like the course. I mean, I'm game for this. I just don't know where we put it. I don't know where else there's room. Because the parking, the roads aren't going to be big enough. It would fit in Unibank's parking lot, but that's outside of our boundaries,
Yeah, that's outside of our boundaries. We can't do that.
and it's not visible.
No.
But it would work there. It looks like, I don't know what that surface is like. What's the surface on the lower parking lot of Grill on Main? What is that surface like?
No, I don't think we'd be able to use that.
Okay. So
What?
that's,
The lower parking lot and Grow on Main,
yeah.
it's tarred and it's big enough. But
Yeah, it is. That's what,
but
so
I don't, but then it's
I'm
not
looking-
gonna be very visible there.
I know. I'm looking at a Google Earth picture
Yeah.
right now, and that's a space that would be big enough, but it's out of sight.
Mhm.
The post office parking lot with it's the residential parking area would fit.
How about the Extra Mart parking lot?
Oh, good Lord.
Extra lot, Extra Mart. Which parking lot?
At the mini mart, at the Extra Mart, across from Harry's Pizza.
You mean like
Yeah, I mean, I can pretty much guess no, unless they took out the tanks.
I mean, it might fit, but there's the building juts out, so probably not.
Mhm.
And the street is, I don't know if it would fit in the street. I don't think it'd be tight. I'm not sure it'd fit. All right. I mean, I think there's nowhere that's as visible and as big as Webster First Federal.
How about at the end of Pleasant Street and Depot Street,
At the top?
at the top, right there at the barricade? Is there
Whoa.
enough room to put this where the streets come together and not interfere with Depot Street?
And the train.
No. I mean, not with, it might fit there, but not allow the train past. It for sure would block the train. And it's fitting up there as a maybe.
I think a couple of you guys need to go down there with a nice big long ruler and just kind of measure.
Yeah, maybe we gotta go down and measure it.
And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Behind the library, the library parking lot, I think would work.
It's not paved.
It's not.
Nope. It's dirt, gravel. It's really rough. it would be hard, it would be bad to ride the bikes on.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Not a lot of, there's not a lot of big spots.
Now, even behind the library, I mean, this wouldn't work. You could set this up on grass, but the bikes aren't going to do well on grass.
No, I mean, ideally you want a smooth paved road. That's going to be maximum fun. Pretty much like that parking lot in the picture here.
Okay, so I think we put this on the back burner until we figure out dimensions and figure out a place to put it.
Yeah, why don't we do, I don't know, why don't we do like a walkthrough of downtown with a 50
Yep.
foot, with a 50-foot tape measure? And
Yep.
see
Yep.
what we come up with.
I'm game for that. When do you want to do that?
I'm on break next week if you want to do some afternoon.
Works
So-
for me. Well, so I'll be in contact with you. We'll figure that out. We'll split a afternoon.
Yeah, because I think we're all in agreement that this course is the path of least resistance for the money and the setup. It's just a matter of finding a place to put it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's, yeah. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so let's get done with that one. All right, so moving on. Trikes, so we got trikes. We talked about the track. Okay. I did come up with another really silly idea. In discussing with the ride people, because this year is going to be a big year, and because the train never stops, I was looking to, and there's always a line to the train. I wanted to see if we could get another train so that we have 2 trains this year. Okay, and the ride vendor that we have does not have another one. They only have one. So I came up with this like really silly idea of building one. Okay, only it's not as hard as it sounds. Okay, it was a barrel train. Okay, it's made for kids only, and it's made out of plastic barrels. Okay, and you pull it with a tractor or a small ATV. Okay, there's a whole bunch of different designs. All of them look cool, but it's actually made for the little kids. I currently have the 6 barrels needed to make this, and I can create this train for under $300.
Are those are hand trucks. They're dollies.
Well, those are hand trucks and dollies, but I wouldn't be using those. I can make the frames cheaper than that. I looked up on how to make them. And you can make these as elaborate as you want. And I thought of doing them like this. Okay. Or something like that.
Mary's going to be busy decorating.
Thanks for volunteering me, John. I'll get you back.
Hey, now that just makes them want to ride this, doesn't
Well,
it?
you could do, Tony, is see if you could sell sponsorships to businesses in town.
That's a great idea.
Yes. I was also thinking of that too, is that I can get a sponsor to help us buy this, or pay for the thing. We would actually own this train, which would make it a little different than the one that we keep renting.
You put a steering wheel on this thing and my son's going to want to ride it all day.
You put a little steering wheel on it. It kind of does nothing, but it's a little
Yeah.
steering wheel.
You put a little steering wheel on a cardboard box and you keep them busy.
Yeah,
Yep.
right.
Yep.
That's a great idea. Where are you going to ride it, Tony?
Huh?
It would be the same as the train, right? You just
Yeah.
one at
Just
a
2
time.
trains going?
Yeah.
Well, one is
following the
emptying.
other.
Well, one is emptying, the other one's going the route.
There
and
you
vice
go.
versa.
When one is emptied, the other one is doing the route.
I mean, just logistically, do you have space to overtake?
I do
for
have
one?
space. Yeah, I do. I do have space because one of them will be coming in and the other one will be going out.
So is this, I mean, to get back to Keith's point earlier, is this worth looking at doing a route down by the goodness store?
I don't know, maybe, we could do that. We could separate them where you had one on one side and one on the other side.
Come look at our abandoned buildings. They're spooky.
You can give a tour of the abandoned school building.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pull out my Google Earth again.
You're gonna need air horn to move people out of the way.
oh yeah, that's not a difficult thing. But these are like ridiculously cheap to make. And then we just have to figure out, at least for this year, we'll have to figure out, or borrow somebody's lawnmower or small ATV or something to pull them.
I keep asking Christina if I can buy an ATV. Maybe this will give me another excuse.
There you go.
Or, I mean, one of you guys got to have a lawnmower, right?
Keith's got about 3.
Wow.
Do not. I have one.
I just assume you have 3 of every vehicle. Where does the barricade go? Down by the post office?
It's on yes, it's down. The barricade is right at the end of Cook Street, which is that barricade ends up in between the street that goes up to the school and the side street there that goes on the right-hand side of the post office.
So we couldn't do anything up Gleason Court, right?
Well, you could.
No, because
Oh,
that's
Mary put
not
that
in
down.
the barricade.
Yeah, Gleason Court's outside of the barricade. Right?
Yeah, it is. And the post office gets used at the first half of the day, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So the parking lot's off limits. And I'm not really seeing anything on that side of the street where we could do anything.
Some of the trains, the ones that we watched, can actually go in a circle because they turn and each car has a twisty thing. And so that it can actually make a complete circle. So it could go down towards stage B, turn around and go back up the other direction.
Yeah, this train right here, I saw a video of, a version of these. The turning radius on these is really short. You can almost do like a U-turn with this. So if you came down Main Street, you could do a U-turn right up without even leaving Main Street with this train.
Yeah, it's just navigating traffic, right? And people traffic at the point though. And
I would say that we put it on the same route as the other train. That was,
I mean, you know how we could solve this problem?
They just want alternate.
We expand the Octoberfest to include Mechanic Street, B Street, and Cook Street.
I was thinking we just move the whole thing down to the ball field so that our neighbors aren't mad anymore.
Just different neighbors. I'm just kidding. I'm quasi kidding. I'm only sort of kidding.
So what do we think about this?
Yeah, that's fine. Follow the other train.
All right. Okay, so do we build this?
Yeah, do it.
Need a motion.
So moved. To build the train. I move Tony to build the train.
Okay. All in favor?
Second.
All right. Okay. All right,
Why can't we use Gleason Court?
because it's outside the barricade.
Barricade.
Oh, yeah, it is. That's a bummer.
Probably don't want little kids competing.
What
with
about school court?
That's where you put the car show.
Oh, yeah. It is.
Okay,
Um,
we had discussion of a soda booth.
John's still on the train?
No,
I
we can move
think
on.
we're done with the train. Are we done? It's done with the train, right?
Unless Keith, you have more?
No, I just started brewing my first root beer though. Homemade root beer.
Really?
Root beer?
Nice.
I'll let you know if it sucks.
So this actually connects with this soda idea. So Tony and I talked a little bit more about this, and I did a little bit more research and found a guy who was able to make soda in a keg and basically use a beer keg setup to pour soda.
Yep.
And I think if I don't know how long it's going to take you to brew soda, Keith, but if we can get sort of a proof of concept of can we actually get this, then I think we could make the soda in advance and chill it a couple of days ahead of time, and then we just make kegs and we pour soda out of the kegs. And it's a real low-tech setup. Like it doesn't require running water. It doesn't require electricity. It just requires ice to get the kegs cold and CO2.
Okay.
Keith, how long is it going to take you to brew your root beer?
I mean, brewing takes about 2 days. Then you got to carbonate it. Another 3-4 days, so maybe a week.
But yeah. Anyway, so you're like within a few weeks of doing this.
Yeah.
So I think if Keith can get this proof of concept to work, then I think we would go ahead and do this, because the original quote that I had gotten from the soda company is like pretty complex and probably, I don't know, what do we figure, Tony, $3,000-$4,000?
Yeah, I didn't think that we were gonna make our money back on that in any decent amount of time.
Yeah, probably a couple years anyway.
Yeah.
This route, what we would do is we would just buy, a certain number of kegs. We'd build the bar, and that's it. We make it look rustic and sell soda. The downside.
I should be able to let you know by this weekend.
Awesome. The only downside of this model is that it requires us to have a keg filled with soda. And once it's out, it's out. There's no quick way to have more. So a full-size keg is like 15 or 16 gallons.
Yeah, I mean,
How many pours that?
realistically, we're looking at corny kegs, which are more like 5 gallons.
Why wouldn't we do full-size kegs?
No easy way to fill a real keg that I'm aware of. I mean, I could certainly look into it
Fill it with what?
with anything.
Yeah, I mean, the video that I watched, it was a guy doing a full-size keg. It's just syrup and water.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's the equipment to actually get it in the keg.
He had this valve that just screwed onto his faucet, and then it screwed onto the keg. And so that's how he filled it, with syrup and then with water.
Yeah, you could look into it. For my 5 gallon setup, I just it's literally a soda keg. So it's what they use for soda.
So how many? How big are the cups? What's this?
Tony, cups,
Soda
how
cup.
big are they?
Yeah, we had looked up I thought we had,
So it's 128 ounces in a gallon.
So 15.
So I figure each cup would be 12 ounces.
15 gallons. It's 1,900 ounces.
So you get about what, 50 cups?
Wait, how many ounces in a cup, Keith?
I figured 12.
Yeah, about 12.
No, it's 158 pours.
And a 5-gallon,
No, 15.
said 5-gallon, John.
Forget about the 5-gallon. We can, if you can fill a 5-gallon, you can fill a 15-gallon.
But I already have the 5 gallons. And the 5-gallon is easier to move.
Yes, but you're not supplying the soda for the event. We
Oh,
need
I thought I was.
no. We need multiple 15-gallon kegs.
Okay, well, we would, I found the thing. that
Well,
we were
let
gonna-
me throw this in there. If we're selling this to the public, are we going, well, I guess the answer is already yes, but we're going to need to work with the Board of Health.
Well, we would get a permit, just like we do for any other thing. Soda doesn't have the same kind of rules that
But it's still, you're
hazardous
selling
stuff
to the
does.
public, so
Yeah,
you
yeah,
need
yeah.
to have.
Yeah.
Wow,
We
excuse
do.
me.
We can just apply for one like everybody else does. I found like travel mugs. We can get these printed with our name on it or our logo. Okay.
I think we could do something better than that.
Hmm?
I think we could do something better than those, but
Well, you don't want to pay $5 a mug though.
no, I don't.
No.
But I had found like color change plastic cups
Yeah.
that look kind of cool.
Yeah. But
They're
these were
cheap.
just but these are metal. So that was the idea is that, if we were going to do something like Wild Bill's idea,
Yeah.
they have a higher quality mug,
Yeah. Anyway, the point is that like we're just looking for volume, so like 16 ounces or something. So 16 ounces. So it's 1900 ounces divided by 16. You're gonna put ice in it though. So figure about 100 cups, about 100 pours, maybe 120 pours of soda per keg. It's not a lot, right?
It doesn't sound like a lot.
It doesn't sound like a lot, but how many kegs did we go through in the beer garden?
Well, I don't, let's not count the number of kegs we go through in the beer garden. Let's count the number of cups we go through in the beer garden. Okay? Of course, in the beer garden, I only have a 12-ounce cup, right? And
So when I did a 12-ounce cup, it was about 150, 160 pours.
what, out of a keg?
Yeah.
Yeah. Last year we did about almost 800 cups.
And I think my hunch is that you would go through some multiple more of soda.
I would think so, yeah.
So how many kegs did we go through of beer?
Oh,
You said 800 cups?
800 cups, yeah.
At how many ounces?
12.
So it's about 1900 ounces divided by 12. It's about 150 pours. So 150, so 800 divided by 150. It's five and a third kegs.
Yeah, for about 5.5. That was about what I thought, 5 or 6.
I mean,
Between 5 and 6.
we'd probably go through twice that, more.
I would think so, because there's a lot more kids running around. You're gonna have kids buying soda,
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah, your market's a lot bigger.
we can sell it by the cup, but you can also sell it so that you sell them the cup and they get free refills for the rest of the day. Remember, we talked about that.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the quantity that we're talking about, I'm not sure we want to do that the first year out.
I think just logistically okay, let's say we sold twice as much, we would need 10 kegs, 10 kegs ready to go, chilled and carbonated. That's a pretty big undertaking. It's what, about 115 bucks a keg.
What is that gross or how much? What's cost?
I mean, I just Googled it I just Googled it and here's one for 140. Here's one for 115. Um, 50. This is 50 liters, 13 gallons. So yeah, a 50-liter keg for $115. So 10 of those, I mean, you're still talking $1,000, over $1,000. I mean, certainly cheaper than the other setup. Just a little bit more of a logistic challenge, I think. Maybe in terms of moving stuff around setup. Keith, do you know?
Can you store a keg in a freezer?
You have to modify the thermostat, which isn't overly difficult, but you can't just throw it in a freezer.
Keith, do you know if
It
once
doesn't freeze, it's just cold, right? Yeah.
once you have the keg,
The water in it will freeze.
once you have the keg, okay, so we're talking soda here. So once you have the keg cold and carbonated, do you need to maintain the chill to keep the carbonation?
I believe yes, but I can't say for certain.
Because so I don't know what happens, but if you got it cold and then carbonated it and then lost the cold, you might lose the carbonation.
I think you'd lose some of it. Because it's just, it's denser when it's cold, so it holds the carbonation in. But yeah, I don't know, it's kind of an interesting question.
Because if that's the case, and we're talking 10 kegs, you'd have to do it like 2 days in advance to get the carbonation, to get the kegs cold and carbonated, and then keep them cold for 2 days before the event, and then keep them cold during the event.
Yeah, it would not be an easy undertaking.
How do they do it with the beer?
Your trucks are usually cold.
The beer truck that we use is just a van.
Just a van.
The kegs are just hanging out in a van.
Yeah, but it's coming in cold.
And it's staying cold for 24 hours.
Or actually, take that back. I think they have it passes through a cooler, filled with ice, and then it cools the beer on the way in.
Yeah, they have a cold plate inside that cooler.
Right.
Yeah,
What are the carbonate? What's the PSI on beer?
It's like 12.
Oh, so it's much lower. That's why. The soda is like 80 PSI or something like that.
No, it can't be 80.
It's really high. Yeah, I mean, just think about it. Think about how fizzy Coke is.
But I'm doing one right now, and it said to start it at 30, and then go down from there.
I mean, maybe, I don't know, the video I watched, maybe it was 40 PSI. I don't know. It was still high. It's 4 times as higher than beer. Which probably speaks to why you would need to chill and carbonate the soda.
5 to 10 psi, just like beer. It'll carbonate quicker in the refrigerator.
For the initial or to maintain the pour? To maintain, but you got to get the initial carbonation up high.
It's just soda is dispensed at a higher psi, but it's not.
That's the opposite of what the video that I saw. The guy it took him 2 days to get it up to carbonation because it was warm, and he had it in his kegerator.
Yeah, so being warm, it takes longer to.
Right, but he had the carbonation set to like 40, and then it took him a couple days in his fridge to get down to temperature and to take the carbonation. And then once he got it carbonated at 40 psi or whatever, he dialed it back to like 8 for the pour rate.
Down to 8, yeah. So that's just it. So you want like 10 psi.
Yes, but you have to get the initial carbonation of the soda up, otherwise you're going to have flat soda.
Okay. I'm not sure it really matters what you need ahead of time, though.
how does Wild Bill's do it then? Because they don't, they have like a CO2 cartridge, right? And they have a bag of syrup, and they have a hose with water, and it comes in and they mix it all at once.
Yeah, so the other way to do it is like a restaurant would, which is you have carbonated water in one thing, syrup in the other, and you just mix it.
That's the setup that I had gotten a quote on. It's just it's more complex setup. There's more moving parts.
Yeah, absolutely, because you have to dial in, your ratios and all that other stuff. Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, it's more complicated in that regard, but there's more parts. There's more machinery.
Yeah.
You've got multiple pumps. You've got a seltzer. There's a seltzer machine to create the seltzer. You need a pump for that. You need a pump for the syrup. You need a water supply. You need electricity. You need some sort of refrigerant, either a cold plate or refrigerator, to keep the supply cold, and then it mixes it all together. And then we're back to the issue, though. What I was explaining to Tony when I was talking to the soda rep guy, he said that there was one company in the country who sold soda taps, like a draft tap.
Yeah.
And they went out of business this year. And so I think what we want to try to maintain at the event is the nostalgia, the sort of the uniqueness of getting draft soda. It's not the same if you stick the cup under the thing and, like in a restaurant. And so I think that's how we ended up with this keg idea, is we could maintain that like kind of vintage novelty doing draft soda.
Okay, so what's the next step on the soda idea?
I mean, I think just logistically, I mean, I have questions. I think like, I don't know, like just a hunch. I mean, I would put it at like double the beer consumption, so I think like just logistically, you're probably looking at 10 full-size kegs. Just to sort of make it work. And then if that's the case, then the question becomes, how do you make that work logistically? And so then at that point, I just have questions about like, do the kegs need to continue to be chilled, or will they hold their carbonation so long as, they've been carbonated and then they lose their temperature? Are they still going to hold their carbonation?
How come a bottle of Coke doesn't lose its combination when it's sitting on the shelf?
Yeah, it's sealed, so maybe that's the case.
Yeah.
I think part of it too, though, is that you have to make sure there's no oxygen in the keg. 'Cause I think that's part of how it keeps the carbonation. Is that if there's nowhere for the carbonation to go, then it has to stay in suspension.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back to high school physics here. It's about equalizing the atmosphere, right? So long as the keg is sealed, the pressure, it wants to equalize with the atmosphere. So long as it's sealed, it can't. But as soon as you release the seal, it would start to equalize. It would start to equalize with atmosphere. And that's why the soda would goes everywhere. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, more or less.
So Keith, you're going to test the concept here on just like making and pouring, right?
Yep.
I don't know, how much do you want to play with the idea of like testing if it holds the carbonation at room temperature or not? I don't want you to waste your product either.
Oh, it might suck. I'll let you know.
Because I mean, again, like we get back to you've got the setup to work with a small keg in a kegerator, in a refrigerator. But if we're gonna make soda in 10 kegs, we don't have that ability to put them in refrigeration. So now we're talking ice.
Well, depends.
What do you have up your sleeve?
Oh, no. It depends. Yeah, I do know a couple people that do have walk-in refrigerators, okay, in Douglas. Okay. So it is possible that we could borrow a corner of one of them, okay, for a few days.
10 kegs, Tony. 10 kegs.
Well,
It's more than a corner.
Actually, we just got to break down the door to Digger's Liquors and fire up one of his coolers, right?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not sure those coolers were in great shape when they stopped.
Probably not.
that's not a terrible idea, though. Oh man, we should open.
Those coolers probably aren't in good shape. However, the Family Convenience Center could probably store a couple of kegs for us.
Who's gonna run up back and forth to go get when it runs low?
Well, no, you'd only store them for, to the event. Then we'd take them all, for the event, so that we weren't running back and forth. You're not gonna want to go there for stock. You want to take them all and then you have them. we'd be, if so, during the day, we'd be either have our own refrigerator somewhere, okay? Or, we'd be using ice.
Did you do some research on Wild Bill?
What was that?
Did you do any research on Wild Bill soda and how they make it work?
Yeah,
And what did you come up with?
well, they make it work because they use a cold plate and they mix it.
And what is keeping us from doing what they do?
They don't, they mix it, they mix the CO2 in, they carbonate the water because the water that they're using comes in off of a garden hose. Okay, so they're carbonating the water and then they mix it with the syrup right on the fly. And they run it through a cold plate.
Man. I'm gonna quit my job and get a Wild Bill's franchise.
Call it Wild Johns or Wild Wills. Pay them for that crap.
They have different brands out there besides just Wild Bill.
Yeah, they do. There's a whole bunch of startups now. They have a whole bunch of them that are something.
I thought one of them was Petey's or Pete's or something.
Old fashioned soda pop.
Something, yeah.
Well, no
That was a
kidding.
restaurant that went out of business in Worcester.
Huh. Wow, there's only 22 of these Wild Bill units in operation, it says.
But they have,
Uh,
like they have this one now. They have what? Cactus Pete's Chuck Wagon Old Fashioned Soda. See?
there you go.
They do the little cheap tin cup. See?
Some of those are not so cheap. We looked them up.
Well, no, they're not cheap to buy, but when you're buying the quantity they are, but
Yeah, they're buying hundreds of thousands.
yeah. But there's all kinds, there's all kinds of them.
Yeah, I'm sure they're probably not overly interested in telling us how they make their soda.
No,
Again, I'm going to just about guarantee it's a bag of syrup and they're mixing it.
Now,
Yeah.
let me get back to, all right, let me pull up the quote that I got here.
I'm running out of steam quickly, guys.
okay, so I guess what we're trying to analyze is if it's worth pursuing, a soda setup.
I mean, if it's manageable, then yeah, I think it would
I think there's a lot of money to be made out of this.
absolutely.
I
Yeah,
thought Polar was supposed to help us somehow. What's up with that?
Well, Polar, they will. Polar will give us product and we can sell bottles of their product.
Oh, bottles, okay.
What we're trying to do though,
I
is
get
we're
it.
trying to figure out, coming up with a display, we're stuck on the Wild Bill concept. Where, we have this old fashioned thing where people get draft soda, they come up and they buy a cup from you and they pour their own cup of soda and go running off.
Old timey.
We got that, yeah, after they pay us. But we get that model in our mind and that's kind of what we're stuck on.
So if they would give us bottles, why wouldn't they possibly give us canisters?
Well, they will, but we don't have the equipment to dispense them.
Therein lies the problem.
Hey,
If I got,
I mean, what, they may not be interested in doing it, but I mean, do they have the equipment kind of like, Purgatory does?
I don't know. I guess that's a phone call, right?
I mean, it will not look as cool, unless they got, the bear doing it. But so the other way around this, if you want to do something a little bit different, is you could set up a soda jerk station, and then all you really have to keg or get a keg of is the carbonated water. And so, I mean, if I understand this right, the way they did it is they would have the syrup in like those squirt things like you used to get at Friendly's when you wanted hot fudge. So, you put a squirt in the cup and then you fill the cup with the carbonated water and there's your soda.
Well, except that's kind of a crude way to do it.
It is, until you dress somebody up as an old soda jerk and make a soda bar. And then you can even get like, crazy flavors like, do you want a root beer Coke, and do a squirt of each one and then, hit it with carbonated water. So
You could have someone dressed up as a scientist or something like that too.
A mad scientist making soda, yeah.
well, I mean, I guess what I'm thinking is kind of like if we're thinking about like the throwback of, of when the town started or whatever, I mean, we probably had, a pharmacy with a soda jerk at some point.
And that's exactly how they made it back then. They put a couple squirts of syrup in a cup and they filled it with carbonated water and you heard it go, and then, it stirred it up and he gave it to you and there was your soda. And they add a scoop of ice cream to it or, yep.
My kids have always mixed their flavors of soda, so there's probably a lot of people that like that idea too.
That might be that it's unique. It's a unique enough idea.
I love that, and I think it sort of hits on the novelty aspect of it, really, which is what we want, right? Like you can go get a Coke anywhere. A Coke is a Coke, but all of a sudden, if you put it in a special tin or if it comes out of a draft, out of a barrel, it feels novel. Or if you got a guy dressed up in a bow tie with a
I would almost guarantee that the Goodness Store still has that equipment, because I think their bar actually had the soda jerk stuff.
Here's the downside of the soda jerk thing, though, is that it requires more staffing. And the pro of the Wild Bill model is that it's self-serve.
We can figure it out.
Oh, I don't know if I'd want to do self-serve.
No, not like that, because you'll get kids with half a cup of syrup.
Yeah, no, but I even mean with like the Wild Bill concept, if they're just like coming over and like, I think it still requires the same amount of staffing within, like maybe an extra person.
Their model is they sell a cup and then it's self-serve. So there's just a guy there manning the sales of the cup.
Yeah.
And monitoring that no one's using a from home cup. But it's self-serve. And then you're not having to worry about a line backing up, to take orders.
Yeah, I would love to have a line. I mean, you know what I mean? Like if we did do the soda jerk thing, I mean, if there was a manageable line and everyone's like, oh, what the hell's going on over there? I don't know. I'm kind of digging this idea even a little bit more.
It's actually not a bad idea. But the issue that we have though is that we're still a little light on volunteers. So to find a person to run that all day or two to run that all day is going to be a little hard.
It is. I mean, unless you do kind of the same deal that you did with the bartenders, which is, work for tips. You get, a couple guys or a couple girls dressed up in bow ties, and they're, and they're in, that soda jerk uniform, slinging drinks, I bet they'd make some pretty decent tips.
You know, I don't dislike that idea. That's actually starting to sound pretty good.
All right, so who's willing to go to the goodness store and say, hey, you still got that equipment?
No. We would buy our own.
Yeah, I mean, if they even did still have the equipment, like I said, I think they still have like the tap.
Yeah, but
I swear I've seen something in there when I've gone in, but
So what do you just need a seltzer? You just need a seltzer and soda and
you just need a seltzer thing actually, because the syrup thing would be a regular like ice cream store for doing syrup, right? A pump,
yeah.
A big ketchup thing.
a ketchup thing, yeah. You know, like they did.
All right, we'll be investigating that.
We come up with some fun names for each of the. You have like a little menu, and like I said, you could like mix some of the different syrups and come up with orange Octoberfest. I don't know.
Douglas Soda Depot.
here you go. One seltzer, soda gun seltzer only with a cold plate. $1,150. Is there a chat on this thing here? Chat. Here we go.
Would be interesting though, because Pola does seltzer also. So
I think most of their, well, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna guess most of theirs are flavored, but I don't know. It's worth a call.
it's worth it.
Because then you could even do the, homemade sodas with, made with Polar seltzer, and do some sponsorship that way. I don't know.
All right,
Okay.
moving on.
I will contact Polar and see if they can help us with this at all and what they have available.
Super cool.
Oh, here you go. You can do a draft arm with the seltzer. There you go. Draft arm seltzer.
Okay, here's what I propose. I propose that we all because we can sit here and kind of like talk about soda all night. But I will research with Polar to see what they can offer us, if anything. All right. And you guys, like, I don't know, do some research or think about it. Think ideas. We'll talk about it at the next meeting. All right. Couple of other issues. It's the town's 275th birthday. So we were reaching out someplace to see if we could get a birthday cake done. The idea was that we would have it rolled out in front of Maiden Stage somewhere around 2:00 in the afternoon. It would be delivered and served by the people that baked it so that we don't have to touch it at all.
Perfect.
And then, we would do something like, some Town of Douglas happy birthday thing. And then they would cut up and serve cake for about 1,200 people. We took a guess at that. So we get pricing of that for about $2,200.
No, the prices were everywhere.
The prices-
$4,000
The
and
prices
up
were
and-
everywhere. They were $4,000. They were $4,500. We had one that quoted $6,000. We found one in Millbury that gave us a price of $2,200 to create a happy birthday Town of Douglas cake. Pretty good size. It would fit on a 6-foot round table. 5-tier high, surrounded by 1,000 cupcakes that they hand out and cut up and all of that. That's what we got for pricing so far on it. We can we can do some more research on that. Or, what do you guys think of that?
Who's paying for it?
Huh?
Who's paying for it?
I'm gonna find I'm trying to find a sponsor.
The town?
It's gonna be on my sponsor list.
Is the town gonna kick in anything to?
I don't know, but I'm definitely gonna ask because in this particular case where we're probably in charge of the town's, 275th, I think that they should allow us some kind of a stipend.
Right.
So I will bring that up. I will mention it. But it's going to be on my list of things for sponsors also.
Thoughts, guys?
Thoughts on the cake?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money to come out of our budget to not recoup.
It wouldn't come. I never planned on it coming out of 100% of our budget. I thought we would find a sponsor for it, for the cake.
Yeah.
Like I had found a sponsor 2 years in a row for the Larger Than Life parade. So I was, specifically going to go for a sponsor for the cake. So.
Yeah, I think that works. Is that price out the door, including labor and them serving and delivering and everything?
Yeah, the 2,200 was a it's a custom bakery in Millbury. I told them that I wanted them to do all of it. I wanted them to deliver it, set it up, serve it, be visible. And I also told them that we were going to advertise that this cake is for, the town's 275th anniversary. So, there's going to be a lot of pictures and, so I told them that we'd give them some exposure.
Okay.
So that's kind of why these people are 2,200 as opposed to the ones that did, quoted me 6,500.
They were more than that, but they lowered it for us.
Yeah, this place in Millbury was actually more than this. They actually were, the recent bid before I renegotiated with them was over $3,000. So they dropped it to 2,200. After I begged.
I think so long as we figure out the pricing, the sponsorship, and if the town's going to kick in some funds, I think it's a great idea.
Right, so Tony, you're gonna go to the town to see if they'll help pay for this?
Yes, I'm gonna actually contact the Board of Selectmen and see if they will give us some kind of a stipend or something for the cake. They must have something. I don't know if they do. I'm going to ask if they have anything set aside for the celebration for the town at all that we can, have access to.
I mean, Tony, can we think about this a different way? And the town is not seeing the best of financial times, and it's taxpayer money.
Yep.
Can we see what sponsors will cover this first, and then get us kind of what's left?
Mhm.
And then if we've been fortunate to be positive over the past number of years, and we have a pretty hefty budget. So if it's a reasonable amount and we can make up the remainder, then I think we do that before going to the town. If that dollar amount that still needs to be closed is more, then maybe we cover part and the town covers.
I think it would be worth asking the question though, at least based on the fact that we've kind of quasi got appointed as the celebratory committee somehow. I think it would be okay to ask the question if they had budgeted any resources for this.
Fair enough.
Right?
Yeah.
And then if they had, are those available to us in some form? And if not, then we'll take it from there. But if they put aside money for that and we're using ours instead, then, that's not quite fair, So if they've already allocated funds, we should know that.
Yeah, that works. Let's do that.
And when I present it that way, it won't look like I'm money grubbing. I'm just saying, look, if you um, all right. Next item, 250-year book.
Yeah, I'll go from there. So Tony gave me this book. It's actually really impressive. I'm really impressed with the work that this group did 25 years ago. Yeah, it's a really, really neat book. So I'm actually kind of really thrilled that we're going to send it to press again and have more copies, because I would love to own a copy of my own. So that's about as far as I've gotten. I still need to send out a request for articles. I also want to spend a little bit more time with the book, because I want to make sure that we handle the next 25 years right. And there are some things that haven't changed in the town. Like some of the articles are sort of historical, speaking about things that are no longer here, but some of the things that are in the book are dated from 25 years ago. There's sort of like an update of downtown and like a then and now picture. So whatever we do, I want to make sure that we're sort of like acknowledging all the work that came before and like adding an addendum to the end, or like a second edition or something like that. That doesn't, sort of step on the work that was done before, but just builds on it.
Okay.
I also have an even older book, Liam or John, if you want to take a look at it.
An
From one
older
of
book.
Deals, like 200 or something like that, 150.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, it's really cool. This committee did a fantastic job with this book. It's really, really neat. The pictures are cool. The articles are neat. It really covers a wide range of topics and authors and age ranges. They had a competition at the school. So they've got like, kids from 4th grade who wrote things for it. It'd be really cool to find some of those folks now and see what they're up to.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing is if we are going to get it or do some version of a print for this, then, there will be a deadline so that we can have, these things available for Octoberfest.
Yeah. So one of my questions too is, what's the quality of digitization that we can do with this? Is this, I don't know anything about that. Tony, you seem to have some lead on someone who does that work.
I can have that book duplicated almost perfectly for what you see.
Okay.
All right.
Again, I would still, talk to Suzanne, because like I said, I remember when they told me how much it cost them to print the annual report, and
Yep.
it's stupid cheap.
Yes.
That was on your to-do list, Keith?
Well, I didn't have anything to go to her with, go with her to, I don't know. Like I need something a little more concrete than, hey, what would it take to print a book? Unless you guys just want to know what it costs to print the annual town report for, an idea.
Well, before we print it, we need someone to digitize it.
The person, Peterson, the guy who gave me a copy of that book, he was chairman of the committee that had done it back 25 years ago. He had told me that he had a price from somebody to digitize it and print I don't know, 100 of them or something like that for $13.50 a copy. Okay. Now that's a lot of money. That's expensive. Yeah, that's high.
That's a recent quote, or a quote from 25 years ago?
No, that's a recent quote.
That's high.
Yeah.
But is that based on, so is that the combination of digitization and printing at 100 copies?
He would have made an electronic version and then just printed 100 copies at 13 something dollars a copy.
So, I mean, to Keith's point, like we potentially have the potential to print copies cheaply through the town, but we need to get them a digital copy first. So we'd want to know what the cost would be to get it digitized.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure, like, whatever digitization we get, I want to make sure it's good. I don't just want a photocopy of this because the picture is going to look like crap.
No, it's gonna have to be a real, 600 DPI scan. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, guys, I got a bolt.
All right.
Have a good night.
Okay, we'll send an email out with the next meeting time.
All right, thanks.
Right. Okay, so, well, the company that we have that prints our annual report, they print our annual report for cheaply also, and it got perfect binding. That's actually a cheaper version because they use saddle stitch on that one, where they just fold pages and staple them for the binding.
Yeah.
We paid like $6 a copy to have ours done, and we get a digital version also.
Yeah. I mean, Tony, can you do the legwork on the digitization side of it and see what we're looking at, what that's going to cost?
I can.
Because that's out of my wheelhouse. And would that be prohibitive?
Would that be for what?
I mean, if you can find a price, at least a ballpark first, before I send out requests for articles, because that could be a financial barrier if it's too cost prohibitive. I think we'd scrap the project.
Yeah, I know. My guesstimation is to have it digitized for, you're talking at least a couple $1,000.
Oh, that's not.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be beyond the scope of this project.
Yeah.
So then okay, so a couple grand, and then even if you got it down to $5 a copy, you're talking, I don't know, a lot of money. How many did you want to print? 1,000?
I don't know. If you printed 1,000 at $5 a copy, it's $5,000 just in inventory.
Plus a couple grand for.
Yeah, and if you do that, you're not going to make it back at Octoberfest. Yeah.
No, and if you don't sell them out at Octoberfest, you're not going to make it back.
Well, no, I don't think so. You're not going to make it back. Whatever. I envisioned this. I envisioned that if we did it and we bought these, okay, and we sold them trying to make as much money as back as we can on Octoberfest Day, and then if we did sell more than cost, we would take that money and give it to the library, the profit, and then whatever inventory we had left over, we give to the library to sell and make profit on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, no, I think it's great. And I think that's a great idea. This is by far the largest event in the year where one group of people get together. And so if we print 1,000 copies of this book and you don't sell 900 of them, you're not gonna sell them. You're going to be holding on to them for the next event, and then, whatever.
Yeah, I actually, to be honest with you, I wouldn't print more than 300 copies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be my guess, is to print like 300 copies. I think that we have the potential of selling half of those. Okay. I'm trying to be realistic.
To that point, then that's even more reason that the digitization has to be cheap.
Yeah.
Because the lower the quantity that we're printing, Yeah, the cheaper the digitization has to be.
So the question is, the digitizing, right? Would you do that before or after you added your addendum?
Well, I want to know if it's going to be cost prohibitive or not. So I don't want to go through the work of requesting articles and starting to edit them.
I'm gonna,
before I know.
I'm gonna do this, okay? I'm gonna ask the original guy that came to me, the Peterson, okay? Now, he gave me that copy that you have, okay? But he's got another 1 or 2 copies at home.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm gonna ask him for, because he had a source that was gonna do this and sell them to him for $13 a copy. I want to know how much that place is gonna charge just for digitizing the original,
Yeah, let's do that.
right?
Let's find
Okay.
out. So yeah, let's find out. Get me a price, and then we can get a sense of if we're talking a couple $100 or a couple $1,000, and that's gonna tell us whether or not we're gonna move forward on this. Now, another thought here, Christine actually had, and I don't think this is a terrible idea, is that we may decide that this work is beyond our scope, and we're talking about supporting the library, and maybe we pass this project off to them. Justin at the library is really great and really resourceful, and this very well may be a project that's better suited for them. But
Okay, well, that might be a possibility. And then we can still, as a committee, give them the forum to sell them at Oktoberfest.
yes,
Yes, yeah.
and maybe we look at bankrolling the project for them. With the idea like we've got the funds. If it's going to cost $1,000 to get them printed, we look at.
He might also have some idea on where to get something digitized too, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, yeah. So why don't you do a little bit of legwork, Tony, and find out, let's see if we can get a cost from this guy. And then maybe next meeting, we look at looping in Justin on this project.
All right. What do you think of that? Of asking Justin to join this team on this book? No, okay or not?
She fall asleep? Mary, wake up.
I like Justin a lot. I'm just a little concerned with sometimes others take over and you could totally lose control of what's going to happen with the book. So you would just have to.
Yeah, Justin, whilst other people, I guess there's an organization called Friends of the Library or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a lot to say about what happens there too. So that's why things get,
Yeah, but we can reach out and see his thoughts and see what he says.
Yeah. Anyway, I will talk to Justin and
You want to talk to him?
yeah, I will talk to Justin and see if he wants to be part of this book project.
Yeah, I think that's probably more in his skill set and wheelhouse than it is ours.
Okay. Is there anything else? Did I miss anything? I think we've covered all the things that we were ready to talk about.
I heard back from my living statue woman, and I think I mentioned to you guys that she was not, she's in a traveling circus right now, but she gave me a contact just today. So I'm going to reach out for another living statue who lives in this area.
Okay.
And hopefully we can get someone again who does that work.
That was awesome. So, and it'll be kind of okay if it's different, if it's another,
Yeah, I mean, I think they're all sort of the same vibe, feel.
Mhm.
It might be a different look, it might not be all white, but whatever. Like, I think it'll look cool. And then she'd also mentioned traveling, like street performers. So I'm going to reach back out to her and see if she has any contacts for that, because I think that would be super killer. I would love to have we had the magician last year who was doing like wandering around doing performances, and it was awesome. I would love for folks to be more interacting with the crowd. So I'll see if I can find that. BVT is in. I confirmed with BVT. They're going to bring robots.
Yep.
They're requesting 2 vendor spots again.
Okay.
And I suggested I didn't think it'd be a problem.
How many they want?
2.
So I guess, do we have quorum still, or are we? Did we lose quorum with Keith?
Is there a quorum with 3
No,
of
we still
us?
have a quorum.
So I move that we offer 2 vendor spots for free to BVT Robotics.
Second. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Great. All right. So they'll, I mean, it's still pretty early for them, but they're in, and we'll get them vendor forms. Mary, are you sending out vendor forms?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Can you send one to BVT?
I will send it to you so you can send it to BVT.
Is it digital?
It'll be digital.
Okay, great, perfect. I'll do that. So they're in. I also reached out to the principal of Douglas High School,
Yeah. For volunteers.
just as I wanted to touch base and have a conversation about supporting the event.
And
He said he was open for a phone call, and when I requested, shot back some tentative times and haven't heard back from him yet.
okay.
So I'll follow up with that again. But yeah, my thinking was, I guess they do, they have kind of like a teacher and student cooperative band that plays.
Mhm.
I thought that'd be a great group, have a great group to play up at the lodge stage, the Olive Branch Lodge
Mhm.
stage. I'll keep trying. It's the fire I keep getting burned on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the things that we have to do to keep this wheel turning is we're going to have to get out there so that I can actually book all of the stuff that we need from the ride bouncy people. So I need to know if we're going to get the track. So we're going to have to measure. We're going to have to wander around out there sometime early next week.
Yeah, I mean, so we could even do my Saturday is booked, but Sunday evening we could do.
Sunday evening works for me.
Okay.
All right.
What time is it getting dark? You want to do?
We can do like what, 6 o'clock?
Yeah. Okay.
6?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So we'll do a 6 o'clock. I'll meet you downtown at Webster First, 6 o'clock.
All right. Yeah. Start at the bank.
Right at the bank. I'll bring a nice long tape measure so we can measure.
Do you have a 50-footer?
I have a 100-footer.
Perfect. Even better.
Yeah. All right. So, and then we'll measure out, see if we can find a location to put that. It's 44-foot square. And then if we can't find a place to put it, then it's $150 wasted. If we can find a place to put it, it's money well spent.
Yeah. Right.
So
yeah, we got to find a spot for it. That's gonna be tricky, I think.
other than that, you see what's going to happen is I'm going to spend $300 on hay bales.
Oh yeah, plus the
Plus the labor
labor.
of moving them around and the mess
Yeah.
because they fall apart, So,
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt this course is money well spent.
all right, we'll figure it out. We'll work it out and we'll adapt. All right. Okay, on my front porch right now, I actually have a blow up
Not
Arena.
well.
for the knocker balls.
It came in two fairly decent sized
It
boxes.
came in 2 boxes.
I bet.
You open it up.
One of
get
them weighs almost nothing because it's got the blower in it.
Yeah.
Okay, and the other one is about this big, which is funny because it's about this big. Okay,
Probably over 100 pounds.
but it weighs about 150 pounds.
Yeah.
And once
No
you open
doubt.
that box, you ain't getting it back in the box.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
you'll never be able to fold it up to fit in that box again. Yeah, so,
Can you get some
Yeah, I
Can you get like some Tupperware bins or something for it?
yeah, we'll come up with something. I'm gonna, sometime this weekend, I'm gonna pull it out in the front yard and blow it up just to measure it and see how it works. I'll take some pictures of it and fire it off to you.
That'd be awesome.
And then we'll see how that works.
That's awesome.
It is awesome because that's another thing that we don't have, because setting up that, and that has to be fixed and maintained and pushed around and repaired during the course of a day. This thing here won't require any of that at all anymore. And it'll, it doesn't take an hour to set up anymore. And
Yep.
so
Yep.
we're progressing.
That'd be awesome.
We're getting old. I'm an old man today.
Is today your birthday?
Today's my birthday.
Hey, happy birthday.
I made him a cake, John.
But I'm officially old today.
37.
37? Yeah, right.
That would make me a cougar, thank you.
There you go.
Yeah. That's on tape.
All right, if we don't have much else.
I don't think we
Sarah
have
still
anything else.
Sarah's still at the town hall.
Yeah.
Poor Sarah.
I am. Happy birthday, Tony.
Thank you. All right.
All right. Is that it? We move to adjourn?
I think
Yep.
we're gonna adjourn. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. I'll send out an email with